lovely. Oh, that's so elegant. Poor noodle.
Hello everybody, welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're well and I hope you've had a lovely weekend, because by the time you watch this it'll probably be a couple of days after the weekend. And what did you all get up to? I hope you had a good time. Now, before people click on and then click off my video, I just wanted to say, if you watch this video, you are helping raise money for Natasha's Allergy Research Foundation. So anything for the month of August and for September, the small amount of money that I make on my channel, but it's getting to be a bigger amount because of the amount of people that are watching my videos, watching old videos, or just watching a little bit longer than what you might normally do. Quite a few of you have said, well, I watch all the way to the end, Emma, in which case you are always helping. How everything is sort of set out, the YouTube system is quite clever. That picks up on how long people are watching videos, how quickly people comment or like. So thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting me. I would just love at the end of September to be able to log on to Natasha's Allergy Research Foundation and donate a decent amount of money to them. Now, a couple of you have said, well, I'd like to donate. How can I donate? And I'm not quite sure how you can do that. So it all kind of goes into one pot together. Although you can do things via YouTube. So you can like click on a button or something and donate a certain amount of money. So I could look into that. I don't know how that would work. And then you could like, I don't know, donate £2 to the charity or something. So thank you very, very much. So you can see in this video, my kitchen is looking quite clear. I've kept up with the kitchen. I've done quite a lot in the kitchen, which I'm pleased about. But I hope you're really, really going to love this video because there is so much in terms of what I managed to do in the bedroom. I've managed to do so much sorting. So you'll also see me sorting out my washing. Lovely, lovely sunny day. Only then, unfortunately, my second batch of washing then got caught in the rain. That's the only thing with at the moment, how the weather is. You just can't predict what's going to happen. Like you think it's going to be lovely and sunny for the next 2 days, but no, you then get a little bit of rain. So yeah, I've done loads in the upstairs bedroom, absolutely loads. So hang on and please do watch all what I managed to do. I know some of you you'll be laughing because you'll see some of the things that I took out of my daughter's room. Some things that you'll probably think, oh, why don't you just get rid of those things? But like one of them, there's a rug there which my husband's dad made for my husband when my husband was really small, I think like about 6 years old. And that was the one that my sister-in-law was selling on a car boot sale. And my husband was like, I'll have that. I'll have that for my daughter's room. So my daughter had it in her room for quite a few years. Well, from like birth until just very, very recently. But she's outgrown it now, which is fine. But she doesn't want to get rid of it. So that will maybe come out if ever she was to have any children, perhaps. Otherwise, if she doesn't, then it'll just sit in my loft cupboard for forever. So this week just gone really felt really busy. So my husband got back from the International Broadcasting Conference in Holland. He was there for about 4 days. So I sort of, that was all. I said that about that last time, didn't it? That's a bit of a shock to the system. And then Wednesday and Thursday, my daughter wasn't at school. And then Friday, but she wasn't at school, but I was still working. So Wednesday morning, she went to Grandma's and I was in Thetford. Then when I came back, we all had lunch together. My husband was at home on Wednesday, but Thursday he wasn't. So Thursday he was in London, I think. And I was working at the same time. Now, Thursday normally is usually my really busy day. So I moved a couple of things around because I thought it's just not fair for my daughter. Well, I'm having like back-to-back calls and she's got to do her schoolwork at the same time. So anyway, I managed to move a couple of the calls to Friday so I could just come down, make lunch for both of us, see how she was getting on, etc., etc. So that worked. And then my dad came round, like he always comes round on Thursday, so that was nice. So caught up with him. And then my daughter was back to school normal on Friday, but then I got a call from the school to say that she was not feeling herself. She was fine on Wednesday and Thursday, it's just they recommended her to be at home for those 2 days. So my husband went and picked her up. I was on the phone and he went and picked her up. He always does the school runs on Fridays, unless he's away, like last week. And when she got home, she was absolutely fine. So I think that what happens is that she gets really, really, really exhausted. It's so tiring. It certainly is a full-on day at school with her different activities. And she's still going to bed quite early. I've looked into thinking about, well, it might be that she's not getting enough vitamin D. And then I thought, well, maybe like iron, like to think about her iron levels. So I have been thinking about that. And then Friday night, because when I got the phone call from the school, I thought, obviously you don't want your child to be unwell, but I hardly ever see this particular friend that I was due to go out with. And I thought, can you believe it? I'll have to cancel. But then when she got home, I could see she was perfectly fine. She said she felt really hot, and I felt when she wasn't really hot. And I was like, is it just because you're really tired? And she said yes. So I went to the Waffle House in the centre of Norwich, and that is where Hugh Jackman loves. I mean the Hugh Jackman, who I was a big fan of, but I was a bit disappointed when he separated from his wife. But his mum lives in Norwich, and his mum is a big fan of the Waffle House. So he always comes to the Waffle House when he's in the city. So I've got to say, he wasn't there Friday night, sadly. But I caught up with my friend. So I used to work with my friend. Actually, we went to the same school. She's about 3 months younger than me, so she was in a different school year. So we worked together many years when we both worked in banking, in the finance sector and mortgages. So that was really lovely to catch up with her. And it's, you know, when you've got that sort of friend where you start where you finish off. You know, there's no sort of, I always feel that also she completely gets me and I completely get her. You know, those friends that you can be completely comfortable with. There's things that I talk to her about that I would never talk to some other friends about. So that was really nice. I'm a creature of habit. I always have the same meal every time I go there, and the same dessert and the same drink. And then we walked then sort of part way sort of across the city and went to a place called the Stanley, and had a drink at the Stanley, and then we came all the way home. So that was a really nice evening. And then Saturday was really good because none of us, not me, not my husband, not my daughter, had anything booked in. So it was a day that we could stay at home, sort things out, and you'll see them loads of stuff that I did in the bedroom, and I've done loads of stuff in the playroom, and my daughter's very keen to clear out the playroom and create more and more space. I'm not quite sure what she wants to do with the playroom because she doesn't want her desk in there. She wants a desk in her bedroom. But she's got plans, I think, for the playroom that she hasn't yet shared with me. So what do you all think about this as the pantry? What do you all think? So a couple of you have said, oh, put some shelves in. So you can see I do have quite a lot of shelves in, not over the window, because I kind of would like the natural light. Although, to be honest, sometimes the stuff's piled so high, you can't really see the window. But so we've got the freezer at the bottom, and then you've got all the shelves above. And that's where I think if I cleared that out, I could have the fridge and the freezer in there. And then I could put the dishwasher where the fridge is. That's what I'd like, but I just don't know whether the plumbing would work. I'd loads and loads and loads of washing to do. Now, what do you all think? Where does that come from? You feel like you do, like 2 big loads of washing, and then you look in the linen baskets and you think, well, they'll probably be empty, and they're like full again. I know sometimes with my husband, he'll just put things on the chair. And what I used to do when we hadn't long been married is I'd go to his chair and take all the things off. I don't do that anymore. That's why he got in a muddle with the white shirt, because he'd thrown the white shirt on the chair and then he didn't have the white shirt that fitted him ready to wear. And then he had to wash it, didn't he? And he then put it in the washing machine with all the things that I just dried. So you can see this first load of washing, a lot of that got dry. But then I put more on later, and it's that which I left overnight. And when I was chatting to the people who were on my live, I said about that. I said, oh, I've left it outside. But then this morning it was lovely and bright, but I didn't go and get it in. And then around lunchtime it started to rain. I just hate it when that happens. It's not so bad when it's in the summer, but when it's sort of like, yeah, it's just definitely more sort of autumn type weather, then it's just going to be now sitting on the line for forever. And we've got new next door neighbours, so that's made me laugh. Remember me telling you the story that you see my fence panels there on the right? Those fence panels are not on the boundary because the lady who lived there before made the lady who lived in our house, forced her to have the fence actually in her garden, not on the boundary line. And even though the boundary is a next door neighbour's responsibility. So what we wanted to do is when the neighbour left and before the new neighbour arrived, we wanted to remove the gates which they've attached on our post. Because it's difficult to explain if you're sort of not in the United Kingdom, I think. But generally speaking, the fence or the wall is literally put on the boundary line. But this isn't on the boundary line. This is all in our garden. So therefore, you can't have anything attached to it and they won't be able to paint the fence, etc., etc. So we wanted to do that before they moved in. But in the end, the lady left, and I've shared with you in the past how we've had sort of an up and down sort of friendship. I've known her since I was really small, and she came to our wedding and she came to my 30th birthday party. But yeah, she's got when she loses it, she really, really loses it. And there were a couple instances that she just got really, really upset about. But I didn't want her to leave on an awkward note, or not a friendly note. So we both went round the morning that they were going and just knocked on the door and gave them a card and said, I wish you well. I know we've had our ups and downs, but all the best. And she gave me a hug, which was really nice. And so by the time we then took this gate off the post, the new people had moved in. So at some point I am going to have to explain to them, just to let you know, I hope, welcome to the area, welcome to your home. I hope you'll be very happy here, but just to let you know, this whole of this fence is in our garden. So this is what I mean about the nightmare that is all the stuff that needs to be sorted and organised in the cupboard. So I knew that there were some things in the cupboard that needed to come out, be put in the bin, or go to charity. But I don't know, I would have quite liked to get rid of more, but the thing is, this cupboard is mostly Christmas decks, Easter decks and Halloween decks. I don't really have that much Halloween. The Halloween that I do have, quite a lot of it are little bits and pieces that my daughter's made, and I don't want to get rid of that sort of thing. And then Easter, we've got some nice things, and I do love Easter. That's a very important time for me. So there wasn't really that much there that I could have got rid of. And then Christmas, I'm going to do another Christmas sort out when we get to the point of getting all the decorations out. So some things that I'd sort of forgotten. There was a very, very, very old Cindy doll that I thought, well, I'm gonna put that online and sell that. And then I've got some loads of Harry Potter Lego. And at this point, somebody will be shouting at the television screen at me. So the Lego is all brand new, and it was an investment. I thought, you've got to kind of diversify your portfolio, so I'm going to buy some Lego. So I bought some brand new Harry Potter Lego, obviously all sealed in the box, never opened it, and I keep that in storage. So I did have a little look to see how much some of it's worth. Hasn't increased much in value, so it's gone back into the loft cupboard. And maybe in 5 years' time, I'll sell it. But the good thing was there was like another Lego big box you can see there on the side. So I put that in the box and I put some other things in the box. So I managed to, store things a bit differently. And then I changed tops because I wasn't comfortable in that other top, leaning into the cupboard like that. But you know, when we had this loft room done, we weren't going to board out the cupboards. And I said to my husband, I really feel like we should pay that little bit extra and get it all boarded out with lights. Now, sadly, the bulbs need to be replaced, which my husband has not done. But I'm so thankful they are all boarded out because we've got so much space there. So, also some of my space saver bags had come, deflated? Yeah, deflated. So that hadn't really worked. And I got some more bags from Primark. So I decided that I'd vacuum pack some of the other things that I'd got there. There's a few of my daughter's clothes that I went through. I managed to get rid of a couple of pieces. I sort of think, you know, when you look through a bag and then you think there's only one thing to get rid of and you think, oh, what's the point? And then I just keep it. But I'm trying to think there is a point. Even if it's one item of, one dress that was my daughter's that I want to get rid of, is still going out of the house and creating space and making things easier and just making more space in the cupboard. You will see that I saw all of this mess, and then I think, oh, there's only a few things left, and I think, oh, I'm now going downstairs, and then I realised that I'd forgotten the little baby doll cot that I was storing. Now, the baby doll cot does show my hoarding tendencies because I had one from the age of about, 6 or 7, and my sister had one. Now, my sister has got 2 sons, so she decided, when my mum got these out of her loft, my sister didn't want her one and said that my daughter could have it. So my daughter had the 2 little cots. Now, I want to keep hold of mine, but I just felt like I couldn't get rid of my sister's. And what's even worse, it is actually falling to pieces in lots of places. The dowling's damaged, the top is damaged, and yeah, I've put it in the cupboard to store it. And I think maybe what I should do is I should say to my sister, oh, you know your little doll's cot that you gave to my daughter? That's fallen to pieces quite badly. What would you like me to do with it? Now, I don't know. I just feel it's really awkward and I feel uncomfortable about it. So I've ended up putting it in the cupboard. And then my daughter's now finished with my doll's cot, so I'm going to have to find a space for that. Oh, she's telling me that she doesn't want to put away yet. But I have got the other cupboard, which I think I can also make some more space. So I've got loads of Lego boxes as well. And because we're getting rid of the Lego, that'll be good as well. So I will have more space in the cupboards. So you might have seen that there's like a cushion there in a space saver bag. Don't know if you can see that. And I did toy as to whether I was ready to get rid of that, and I decided that I wasn't. So the cushion there, that like fits around your body, and it's to, don't know whether people use it to help sleep as well. But it was for me when I was breastfeeding my daughter, and I was really, really struggling and actually in a lot of pain. And I was spent 10 days in hospital after my daughter was born. And my husband came in and brought me that cushion. And it still now makes me feel a bit emotional because I think it must be hard for the dad to look and see his wife go through kind of, if things are sort of aren't straightforward, to go through, even if things are straightforward, to go through the labour and everything. And then I really struggled with the feeding. And he brought that so you can put that around your body and then the baby lies on that. And it just made it so much easier. I think there's something that people just don't talk about. I always just thought, oh, like breastfeeding is natural. Breastfeeding, I'd been breastfed, my sister had been breastfed. I knew that was always what I was going to do, but I thought it was going to be so easy. And it really wasn't. And I think that actually in society we make it harder for women because I think a lot of people think, when they then have struggles in the beginning, they think, oh, it's just me. I can't do it. There's something wrong. There's a problem. And then they give up because they're so frightened of getting it wrong or, failing or whatever they think. And then they often feel upset that they hadn't, given it a little bit longer. But yeah, I really struggled. I actually struggled for 13 weeks. I was in agony. And I used to sit, and every time she fed, I would count down. Well, if I could just get to 6 months, I'd sit and do the maths in my head to think how many more days I had left to feed. And then I went to various different people. I went to the doctors. I went to some apparent experts. Went to all these people, midwives, etc. And none of them really could help. And then I went to this one specialist clinic. And I described everything that was happening, and she said, oh, it sounds like your baby's tongue-tied. And she looked in my daughter's mouth, and she said, yes, she said, she's quite prominently tongue-tied. And that lady, I can still remember her name, Jan, how people can sort of put a mark on your life. She did an urgent referral, because obviously I'd been 13 weeks, was struggling. And my daughter never really lost weight, but she never put on the amount of weight that she should have been. And I think combined with all the tongue-tie problems, and then because she was reacting to my milk, because she had these allergies, although that was more so sort of when she was about 3 months, that started becoming harder. But yeah, they did an emergency referral. And literally, I think about 2 days later, we were in the hospital and they snipped it. And she fed straight away afterwards and there was no pain. And I felt like it was probably actually she was not getting the sort of the thicker milk that she's supposed to get. So that was good that I went to that lady in that specialist place that had spotted that. And all the doctors that had missed it. I often think when people say when they go to a doctor and the doctor either gives them an answer they want or gives them an answer that they don't want. And I think, well, it's just one doctor's opinions. Doctors are human. Doctors can make mistakes like anybody. So you can see that I'm using some of these bags that I got from Primark. So I'm going to see how they are compared to the sort of the Space Saver bags. They seem to be quite good. My pump wasn't working very well. But they went quite down, went down to quite a small size. I actually thought all these black clothes I thought I could get rid of, but all of them are ski clothes or, going to the Outer Hebrides type clothes. So my daughters I've got rid of because obviously they're too small, but that seems silly to get rid of, my trousers and my husband's trousers. They will still fit us and that we would use them again. So whether you're working along at the same time as me, you're sitting down having a cup of tea, whatever you're doing, I do think that like some of these jobs could easily make people overwhelmed. Because I just thought, goodness me, at some points, when I was going in and out there and I have to climb all over the stuff, it doesn't really bother me because I always think, well, this is what I'm going to focus on for this amount of time. But I do like getting everything out. I don't always like putting everything away. But as I said, I've got quite a lot of space in there, so it's not like the impossible. I did think about getting rid of that big woolly sheep, but my daughter says she likes that coming out for Easter. And I squashed this down because somehow that had managed to inflate. That's the cushion that I was talking about. So I think what I'll do now is I'll go through some of your comments. So a few videos ago when I mentioned about the teddy bears, that's why I did a little video, because Paper Playground put someone drops teddies with parachutes. I've never heard about that before. I can just imagine looking up and seeing a teddy bear flying towards my face. That sounds strangely terrifying. So that's why I did that first video. And that was Noodle coming from the top of the church tower. Noodle is a little panda bear, but sadly, I think he had a good chance of winning actually, but sadly the wind took him into the tree and he got stranded up in the tree. When my daughter was very, very young, the same thing happened to Noodle and she burst into tears because she thought she'd lost him forever. But of course they go round and get them out of the tree afterwards. Jules Max, I find a 10-minute tidy keeps everything in order. grab a wash basket, pick up everything that needs putting away, then go room to room putting things away. Very good idea. I think I'm some way off that, but that's what I hope to be able to do once I'm getting back on top of things. Teresa says, another brilliant video, Emma. Kitchen looking fantastic. I thought the little tray which you were sorting bits and pieces from was so cute. P.S. I had to laugh about your manager's enthusiasm, i.e. lack of, but was funny how you were relaying the story. He might as well have stayed at home. You seem very competent, professional and talented. Oh, that's very kind to say that. It's interesting because I had sort of ended up having a conversation with a few of you about this, and someone said how actually some people find it really hard to say well done. They find it hard to find the words and to get that sort of expression of thanks and support over. I guess it's different perspectives, isn't it? It just made me think about that in a bit more detail. And actually, I'm a little bit apprehensive because tomorrow I've got a big presentation that I'm doing to the board. Now, I have been asked to do it, and I do think it's a bit of a joke, really, because there's like different levels. So my manager asked me to do the presentation from the board, but the level under it I do rather than the people that report to me. And I think, how does this work? So I do the level that's way above me. I also do the level that's just above me. And somehow I'm ending up doing both. Now it's interesting because I always feel quite, relaxed and fine when I'm doing it with somebody else who is confident and competent. Whereas this whole thing, I told you about how he'd written out a massive great spiel and started reading it out. That reminded me of when a few years ago he forced me and my work colleagues' hours to change. And he said in all this review that wasn't going to affect us. And then we got invited along to this meeting and he started reading a script out. It was very odd. And he said afterwards, I read the script out because I didn't want to miss anything. And now I think he reads the script out because he feels uncomfortable and he doesn't feel very confident. And I had a catch up with him on Friday and he says, if we get any questions about X, Y and Z, I've been writing some notes. And he tipped his page up to the camera and he's done another one of these essays. And I thought, oh my goodness, if you're going to get asked a question, you just need to have maybe a full few bullet points written down, not to have an essay to go through. So I really hope he doesn't do that tomorrow. SPXN. I don't know why your name comes up like that. Sometimes I find that the full name comes up and sometimes it doesn't. But she says, having the end of the counter clear makes such a lovely difference in your kitchen. Well done. Susan said, hi Emma, I'm so glad the accident was minor and you're both safe. Well done on growing your channel. So I've got good news about the person and their insurance. They do have insurance and it all seems like that's going to be going through with no problems. So thank you to those of you that commented about that and wished me well. Zoe says, you've had a busy week. I'm happy you took your wellness lunch. Not tempted to work through. Regarding my parents' house, yes, this was our family home. My sister and I watched the house being built. I'd be 3 and my sister 5. I can remember the house being only a few bricks high and I'd jump from room to room. My granddad would help my dad. I've very fond memories. My dad is a carpenter, so all the wood in the house is his work. He made a beautiful wooden open plan staircase. I can remember there being a ladder to the upstairs during the build. He made the fitted wardrobes and had made a fabulous fitted kitchen, all wood and beautifully hand carved. We moved in when I was 5. I felt so lucky as a little girl and so proud of my dad. And to complete our home, my mum made all the curtains and any soft furnishings. She'd make dresses, pinafores for us and was always knitting to create cute cardigans and jumpers. Oh. So this move will be emotional for all of us as a family. We moved there in 1972. Goodness me. Oh dear. All those lovely, lovely memories. That must be very, very hard. I'd find that very difficult. Always look forward to your videos. Thank you. Sorry for the delay in my response as my daughter was taken into hospital last week as an emergency. Oh, goodness. The good news is, though, that she's okay. So Zoe puts, she's had surgery and she's doing really well now. Thank our Lord who kept her safe. Yeah, thank God. Sending love. And Zoe sent me a sunflower, an autumn leaf and another sunflower. Oh dear, that must have been scary. So what, you just suddenly received a phone call, did you? To say that your daughter had gone into hospital? What a worry, and at the same time you're doing all this with the house. Well, I hope she continues to recover well, and I hope the move goes well. That certainly is a big change for you all. Make sure you take lots of photographs. Maybe take a couple of photographs of you standing at the front door, all of you together. That'd be nice. So you probably on the video just saw me looking through some books and things. So that was all my schoolwork that my mum gave me. I binned a maths book because I just think maths doesn't really tell a story, does it? I just looked at it and just thought, I can't even remember doing any of this. It was a book when I was 8 years old and just like loads and loads of sums and then the teacher ticking what I'd done. So I got rid of that. And then there were some other books that I thought, oh, some of this is similar sort of age to what my daughter is now. So I'll let her have a little look through the books, which she'll probably just look at and think, oh, this looks ancient. But some of it also is relevant. Like there's different French words that I was learning when I was 11/12 as well. So I started reading through some project work and I thought, oh, I can get rid of this. And then I got to this certain part of it and I find it very hard to explain. There must be a scientific phrase as to what this is called, but that literally I could feel like when I was that age. Do you know what I mean? I could feel like how I felt when I was that age, and that was a nice feeling. So I decided to keep it, and there were some lovely comments from the teacher to say that my project was good. Now you might hear now, do you remember when ages ago on my videos I started trying to sort out the front drive? So you might hear now some banging and scraping. That's because we've been out all morning for something that my husband had to do for his work. And he said, oh, what should I do? And I said, well, I really hate how the front garden's looking at the moment. Maybe you'd be able to do some of the front garden. So he's gone out and he's doing that. Right, let's get back to a couple more comments. You're so kind how you all take the time to comment on my channel. You really are. It means a lot to me. And I love reading through the comments. So Michelle Perrier says clutter attracts more clutter. Absolutely. Jen says, hi Emma, I love the idea of finishing off the back door area for a cloakroom. Definitely the way to go to relieve the pantry of all your coats and jackets. Thank you, Jen. Carolyn says the same. I like the idea about getting that door fitted for coats, etc. Someone's written here about the, this is, oh, my follower from Edinburgh. So I've got a few of you from Scotland now and a few people from Wales as well. You make me think, oh, I should go and, I should get to know Wales and Scotland more. I definitely want to find out more about those islands off the coast of Scotland where different saints were taken. I don't know enough about that. Teague 80 says re-washing. If it's not dirty, wash it at 30. I use Eco Vegan Small Pods, Eco Wash, no fabric conditioner. Vinegar instead to keep the machine fresh. And Teague 80 reminded me actually, I need to get some more vinegar because I still haven't bought any. I used my last lot of vinegar for polishing my mirrored table. Limescale free, you don't smell it on the clothes. Hi from near Edinburgh. Carolyn says you've definitely changed your mindset. You've mentioned a few times that you need to go back to the pantry and do another layer of decluttering. Yeah, I really do. It's just such a shame that I'm working on Monday. You know, I always keep Mondays clear, don't I? But I can't say for the board meeting, I can't make that time and date. So I had to do that. I had to do that, which is okay because I can get my hours in a bit more, given that I did less hours over the summer. Oh, Elizabeth Paul. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you? Keeping the left side clear on the counter is a good idea to lessen the clutter in your kitchen. It takes a while to get your home decluttered to a stage where it's easier to tidy up and manage easily. Dana K. White of A Slob Comes Cleans calls it your clutter threshold. If you do a bit every day or every week, it will eventually be down to a level you can easily manage. Oh, and then T. Gatey's also put, just wondering if there's a possibility to have your washing machine outside in a shed or garage to free your kitchen up a bit. Now, a couple of people have said this to me. I do have electric in my husband's man cave. I don't have electric down my other shed. But you can't get into either. You cannot get into either. A combination of reasons as to why. We vowed that we would not let the shed get to how our other shed was, and it has. Everything is just dumped in the front of the entrance of the doorway, and you can't get to anything. So we can't do anything about moving anything around until those areas are decluttered. M. Big says, I love your idea about creating a mud room. It would be so great to have an area for jackets, coats, etc. Now, a few of you talk about a mud room. I have never ever heard that expression. Tell me, is this an American or Canadian expression? A mud room. I'm guessing that means an area for you to take your shoes off with the mud and take your coats off and then store them there. Watching Till Jesus Comes says your kitchen is looking more open. I wonder if when the wine is removed, you could keep a hamper in that spot for your laundry. I notice you're often walking around the laundry while working in the kitchen, and it might help it feel less cluttered. Yeah, I am. I do often do that. I'm trying to use this washing basket and not throwing laundry on the floor, but you will sometimes still see me throw laundry on the floor because my linen baskets are full up with washing that hasn't been put away. Carolyn said, hi Emma, who put all of that stuff on the dining room table? It was a combination of all of us, but there's an awful lot of my daughter's books. I don't know what to do with her books from last year. She's got loads of books from last year, and I don't know whether we still need to keep them for a period of time because they're still building on that same knowledge, if you see what I mean. Karen said, Hippo soaps will make the drawer smell nice. I'm glad Karen said that because I was feeling like I shouldn't really keep hold of them, even though I really like them. Tracy says, I'm in the UK and my mum had a top-loading washing machine in the 80s, so I've just Googled. You can get them in the UK, but there's not a lot of choice and they are over £1,000. But you know, it's so funny, Tracy, since we had this conversation on here, I was watching Coronation Street last night. For those of you that know what I'm talking about, it's like a soap. It's kind of a lot of nonsense really, but I still watch it and have done for years. And Tyrone and Fizz have got a top-loading washing machine. Just literally when I said that I'd never seen one in the United Kingdom, and they're using one. Brooke says, maybe all of the chicken things from the shed can go into his building that he doesn't often use, along with the go-kart from your future mudroom. Yeah, it's just, you can't get in there. It's because it's got like 4 bikes and then racks and racks and racks of all these little toys, wargaming toys, little figures and all different things, and a painting table and all sorts out there. On the video where Remy said that she was going to Cromer Beach, I commented that she should meet up with you. Oh, that's nice, Brooke. Remy's done ever so well with her channel. She really has. It sounds like it might be time to make a look at it again in 6 months. To put things like the mug you gave your husband years ago and some of your clothes in that dresser. Yeah, it looked like you'd put some to the side to declutter, then put them back in the drawer. I'm trying to think which drawer was that I was doing when you said about that. I do sometimes put things ready to declutter and then I sometimes look at them and decide to keep them. But I don't think I put anything back in the drawer. It seems that both you and your husband are very sentimental, and possibly your daughter is not going to be that way so much. No, I don't think she is. And the things that I think my husband's not going to be sentimental about at all, like, you know, all those mugs and cups I'd sorted out. I just said to my husband and daughter, I'm getting rid of all those. Can you just have a little look to make sure you're happy? So my daughter looked at them all and said, yeah, that's all fine. You can get rid of all them. And also you can get rid of this one. She added one to the pile. My husband looked and said, oh, you're getting rid of my Scorpio mug. I'm like, he's not remotely interested in anything to do with star signs. Not remotely interested. He's got a mug with his name on that his work colleague got him done. He's got a mug for Norwich City football team. He's got a mug with chickens on. He's got plenty of really nice mugs. And I said, your mug for Scorpio? He said, yes. I said, what, you want to keep that? He said, yeah, I do. I like that mug. I thought, right, okay. So I took it from the pile and put it back in the cupboard. So that sort of thing. But then other things, I'll say, oh, I'm not sure what to do with that. And he goes, put it in the bin. And then Brooke says, I'm looking forward to you getting your kitchen back in order and seeing what you do with your pantry and possible mudroom. Helen Palmer says, perhaps the children at the fun fair haven't been on an expensive holiday this year, so their parents have treated them with the ride passes. That's what my niece is doing this year, as our goose fair in Nottingham is on for 10 full days. I've heard all sorts about the goose fair in Nottingham. I'd love to go to that myself. Yeah, that's quite possibly right, Helen. They haven't been on holiday, but I still think that some of these places try and, rip people off. I just think, imagine if you've got a family of 4 and they all want to spend £10 on the bouncy castles. £40. And then Cynthia Miller. Hello, Cynthia. I don't know if I know where you're from. Cynthia says, things are looking much better. Have you lost weight? No, I have not lost weight. If anything, I've probably put weight on. I have noticed that, like, for instance, when I used to give up things for certain foods for Lent, or like when I did my Daniel fast earlier in the year, and I'd actually lose weight, but I didn't lose any weight. And I think quite possibly, as each week goes by, I put on, even if it's like 1/10 of a pound, if you keep on putting 1/10 of the pound, you're going to keep on putting more, aren't you? This is a nice comment. So this is from Jessica. Looks a bit like Jessica, but it's Jessic. Hi Emma, I'm loving your videos, your energy and your heart. Oh, being from Canada, I'd love to see you with a dishwasher in your kitchen instead of a washing machine. I'm not sure how realistic this would be for you, but ideally moving your washing machine to an upstairs bathroom. You could even get a stackable washer and dryer. Bliss. It's fantastic since 95% of laundry usually belongs upstairs anyway. I went years without a dishwasher. Finally had an apartment-sized one installed and I've never looked back. Also, with your disposable cutlery, treat yourself once a week and use disposable compostable dishes and cutlery. Another idea is you could mount a collapsible drying rack alongside your right-hand cabinet in front of your window. Dishes would drip into your sink and be off your counter. When not in use, you could collapse the rack flat against the cabinet and it would be tidy. You're doing a wonderful job and you're keeping me motivated. That's a lovely comment. Thank you. So, we do in England. It's very common to have a washing machine in the kitchen. That's where most people would have their washing machine. And of course, we don't have washing machines in bathrooms for a variety of reasons, really. That is done in other parts of Europe. But how we feel is a toilet, a bathroom is a place to go to the toilet and to wash. And we don't feel that it's suitable to put a washing machine in there with clean when you're trying to get your washing clean, where people are going to the toilets. So that's part of it. Some of our bathrooms wouldn't be big enough. Certainly my bathroom would not be big enough to have a washing machine because I've got a bigger than average size bath. But I do agree. I do agree with what, you know, having a dishwasher would make a big difference. I really like the idea of this rack you mentioned. I think that's a great idea, so I'm going to look into that. I couldn't bear to use the disposable cutlery once a week, although it does sound very tempting. For me, it would just be far too much waste. I couldn't bear to put that into landfill. I really couldn't. And I know you're saying like a compostable, or, you know, compostable dishes and cutlery. But the issue that I have, okay, so it's not going to maybe take loads of space in landfill, but it's still going to take a while to break down, and it still created that and needed that energy in order to create the things in the first place. Which, to get the energy, you're needing to burn fossil fuels or, you know, have some other system to make the energy. But I do agree, it does sound tempting, and that would mean I didn't have to do any washing up for one day, wouldn't it? Ah, Franderick. Hello from Orkney. I'm not Orcadian though, but I've lived here for 8 years. I've been watching for a little while and you're encouraging me to deal with some more things in my own home. That's super news. I've been decluttering on and off for a long time. So I'm going to be off on my normal Google check to see exactly where Orkney is. And I've never heard of people Orcadian. I like that word. So that brings me to nearly the end of my video. So thank you so much for watching my video. Know that you are supporting a charity by the fact that you've watched this video. And if you haven't subscribed, if you subscribe, and even if you just write hello as a comment, obviously I love reading your comments, but if you haven't got time, you just write hello. It all helps the algorithms, I'm told, to get more people to watch my video. So thank you very much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.